he changed.
Speaking of quarterback, who do you think starts on Saturday?
Good question. I think it'll be Andy Dalton. But wouldn't surprise me if it's Tanner McKee. Would surprise me if it's Jalen Hurts.
It's not going to be Jalen Hurts. No way, right?
I would think no way. But
is the preseason important for Mannion?
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. I mean, he's got to do again all the operational shit. Like he's got to he's got to not only impart the information but get the information from others in a really finite amount of time. You know, that 40 seconds goes quick. And you got more motion. You got so you got to be up at the line of scrimmage a lot earlier. That should be no problem because they're taking away the reading the coverage aspect for more of the pure progression. So you don't have to sit there and look at the defense. You have to make sure all the position coaches are on point when it comes to changing those personnel groupings because they'll use 11, 12, 13, 21. And all that's got to go seamless. Be nice if they could eliminate penalties on rub routes, but that's maybe a pie in the sky because they're going to run a lot of rub routes, so they better freaking figure it out. Yeah, I mean, I would say about anybody, the biggest story is Sean Mannion and what it looks like. Not and what it looks like. I don't mean points, yards, what people think I mean. I mean what it looks like. Are guys lined up correctly? Are there's not 3 delays of game? All that kind of stuff. Are people confused? And is Jamal Singleton sending out Carson Steele while Aaron Moorhead sending out 3 receivers? That's what I'm talking about. And if that gets ugly, it's going to get ugly in Philadelphia quickly.
Yeah, well, it is good first reps for Mannion to get some plays called and things like you just said. So we'll see what it looks like for him. You know, he's got to work on that. Obviously, it is new to him. But it feels like he's had a pretty good start to training camp, like as good as you can have. I mean, you're a coach; it's hard to really gauge, but it does feel like the players have responded to him well. Jalen's responded to him well, and I do like that. It feels as though John he understands the importance of the communication with the players and the quarterback. Like I was reading Mark Trestman's book, and he writes in that book one of the most important relationships on all of the entire organization is the play caller and the quarterback. And if they don't have a good relationship or a good form of communication, it's going to permeate. And it feels as though Sean understands that he needs to have that with Jalen. I'm not there. I haven't talked to Sean, so I'm just going off of what I've heard and what I've listened to. But it does feel as though that's the case for me. I don't know if you see it differently.
Yeah, I mean, and Mark's tremendous. I'm looking forward to getting that book. He's supposed to send it to me. Mark, send it to me. But
he'll send it. If he said he would, he will.
Yeah, very smart offensive guy. Very smart. I mean, Sean's a quarterback. Yeah, he understands the relationship part of it. That part doesn't concern me. Like people are making a big deal. I don't know. I've heard a couple people say he doesn't even know if he's calling the plays from the field or in the box. I don't believe that for a second. I believe that was he did say that, but I think he was instructed to say it just to keep. Again, Nick Sirianni's obsessive with competitive. He doesn't want to give any information out at any point. He's a quarterback a long time. He's going to be on the field. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. He knows where he's calling the plays. And it's going to be on the field. So he understands that relationship. You're not going to have the same feel if you're up in the booth with the quarterback and that kind of stuff. And again, he's decade in the NFL as a backup quarterback. He understands the dynamics of it. That part to me is not the question. The overwhelming amount of information coming at you and digesting it is the stuff you got to get used to. And again, a very short period of time. And usually that's going to take some experience doing it. There's no other way to replicate. The Eagles try to replicate it as much as possible in practice. They have coaching headphones on a lot. They have call-it periods a lot more than they typically do, as Nick said, to try to get them prepared. So they're doing everything possible, but you can't replicate a live game experience until it's a live game. So that's, to me, the most important part of this upcoming game. And number 2 is not close. How he handles the communication, inputting and outputting the information. As a first-time offensive coordinator, first-time play caller with very little coaching experience overall.
Well, what do you make of the way Jalen has spoke about him in terms of like the explanations for why they're doing things? Like, it doesn't ever feel like, again, I'm just going off of what I heard. It never felt as though Jalen was confident or comfortable with Kevin Patullo. Now, maybe there's some hindsight there, but you know that clip of him in the locker room after they won the Super Bowl talking about Patullo, you heard a couple comments that were a little bit, snide at the podium about him a little bit. Never really expressed confidence in Kevin Patullo, at least from my perspective. It feels as though Jalen's given a little bit more so of that to Sean Mannion.
Yeah, I don't play much into that. I mean, Jalen's the same guy. Jalen's like a flat line. The way people parse his comments, he's the same through all of them. Same guy. The little difference is he's very intentional. We always use that word. He's very intentional. The little difference is, like last year, the big thing from his perspective was not practicing what they were trying to change to. And he didn't think it made sense from that standpoint. And I agree with him. That was what it was about. Usually when he's asked about coordinators, he defaults to, well, it's not my job, basically, in a very Jalen Hurts way. It's not his decision, so he tries to make it the best case of it, and he doesn't use it as an excuse, yada, yada, yada. Now, I think he knows he's in a different position this year than he has been in the past with the contract standpoint, and he's got to have a good year. So I think there's a little amped up understanding of this has to work. So the quickest reason to make it not work is to make it evident that you're not thrilled with the offensive coordinator, which you would never do in the first place. So I think that's a long way of saying I think people take way too seriously and parse his words way too deeply. I get he's the starting quarterback, but he's the same guy. He was the same guy through Shane Steichen, Brian Johnson, who was a family friend.
He is intentional, though.